This might be my first and last Batman figure, the MAFEX number 270 Knight Crusader Batman Black version. I mostly collect Marvel, but I grew up watching Batman in cartoons and movies, so does this finally feel like the one, or am I still searching? Right now, the only DC figure I own is Batman Devastator from McFarlane Toys. It's a 7-inch scale figure, but I've been making it work with my 1/12 scale display. I skip most of the DC Multiverse figures because they don't really fit my setup, and honestly, I'm not a fan of plastic capes. That's where the MAFEX Batman caught my attention. It potentially fixes both of those problems. And right away, this Batman has a very classic comic-inspired look. The proportions are bulkier and more powerful. It really feels like the Batman I grew up watching. Since DC and Marvel are crossing over again in the comics, this is where things get fun. Because now we can actually pair Batman up with characters in the modern context. Recently, just as fans have longed for, he finally crossed paths with Deadpool. Here is the MAFEX 270 next to the SH Figuarts Deadpool. The Figuarts is known for being slightly shorter, but honestly, it works perfectly for recreating the recent team-up look. Batman also has a rich history with Wolverine, even being fused together as Dark Claw back in the 90s. So here he is next to the MAFEX brown costume Wolverine. This Logan has a bulkier upper body, and it actually scales really well against Batman. For something more stylized, even though they haven't met in the games, Batman and Spider-Man, they do have a crossover history against Joker and Carnage in the comic books. Here is the SH Figuarts Gamerverse Spider-Man, and surprisingly, this combo still works visually. And finally, for a true street-level pairing from the Eye for an Eye storyline, Batman with MAFEX Daredevil. Both figures have bendy wired accessories, and together, they just look right on the shelf. In the comments below, let me know which one is your favorite team-up, and what other team-up would be perfect with this Batman. The Bat Cape is a standout because of how MAFEX handled the wire placement. There are actually 4 vertical bendy wires running through it, 2 on the outer edges and 2 in the middle. I was expecting the standard 2-wire setup for basic windswept poses, so those middle wires were a pleasant surprise. They make it much easier to bunch up or flare the center of the cape. There's no horizontal wire, but honestly, the middle wires do a better job shaping the cape into a natural flowing position. My expectations were definitely exceeded here. The great thing about cloth capes though is that they don't hinder articulation. You can fully use the butterfly joints and move the arms freely. That said, his larger biceps and forearms do limit the elbow range slightly. One thing that I worry about is the pointy pins on his gloves damaging the cloth. That's probably the one advantage plastic capes still have over soft goods. I'm also careful with the upper torso swivel. There's enough clearance, but I wouldn't push it to do a full 360 to avoid scratching. The waist swivel is slightly restricted by the utility belt, and the thigh swivel is nicely hidden for a clean look. Like the elbows, the knees are limited by the thicker calf muscles. There's no boot swivel, but the ankle ball joints make up for it. Overall, it's the kind of articulation you expect from a premium MAFEX figure. I did use a bit of shock oil to loosen the leg joints. At first, I thought this was a reuse of the MAFEX Daredevil body. But it's not. Daredevil has a lean, athletic build. This Batman is noticeably bulkier. Bigger arms, thicker legs. This version really leans into the classic powerful Batman look. The abs are also more defined and pronounced compared to Daredevil. What really makes this figure stand out is the subtle wash over the sculpted muscles. Even though the body is mostly gray, the paint doesn't feel flat at all. When it comes to logos, I'm always worried about smudging or deformation, but this MAFEX Batman features a clean, classic sculpted yellow emblem, and it looks perfect. this specific logo and color scheme hit the nostalgia just right for me. In the comments below, let me know, what are your definitive Batman colors? Is this black and gray look the one for you? Or are you a fan of the classic blue and gray? He comes with two head sculpts. Both have a similar stoic expression, with one featuring a standard look and the other showing clenched teeth. One thing I do feel is missing is a screaming head, just like Daredevil, or even an unmasked Bruce Wayne head, which Medicom has included in some of their X-Men figures. In terms of accessories, this is where I feel a bit let down. He only comes with a single batarang with a wired rope. There are no guns included, even though he comes with trigger finger hands. Since this is a Medicom Toy Exhibition 2025 exclusive, it makes sense that it's just a repaint of the MAFEX number 215 Knight Crusader Batman. But it's still disappointing that the MAFEX 270 Batman comes with fewer accessories. I would have preferred a gadget or an extra head sculpt instead of getting less overall. Since Batman is a street-level hero like Daredevil, I compared their hands. They share three pairs in common: a pair of closed fists, a pair of open expressive hands, and the more stylized Robin slapping hands. The unique hands for Batman include wider open palms with spread fingers, while Daredevil has the more clawed or tense hands. There's also a pair of hands with a slight gap between the index finger and the rest of the fist. It almost looks like a variation of the closed fist. Finally, Batman includes trigger finger hands, which mostly work for holding the batarang. The batarang itself is nicely painted in a shiny silver with a long black wired rope. Despite the missing accessories like a grapple gun, overall I'm still glad that I picked this one up. When I visited Japan in 2025, I missed the chance to grab a Batman figure, but I was still able to get this one at a local Japanese price using a proxy service called jpfans. I'll keep this part quick, but if you're into importing figures from Japan, jpfans let you buy from sites like Mercari Japan, Amazon Japan, and Surugaya. They also offer optional rebates if you submit content like videos or product photos after your purchase. I'll leave the details in my link in the description below if you want to check it out, or you can watch my full jpfans guide after this video.
I'm Juggernaut!
The MAFEX number 270 Knight Crusader Batman Black version action figure stands 16 cm or 6.2 inch. Bruce Wayne usually has a height of 6 feet 2 inches tall, making this figure accurate to the 1/12 scale. 1/12 scale MAFEX size comparisons with X-Men Jubilee, Daredevil, Brown Costume Wolverine, and Rogue. 6-inch scale Hasbro Marvel Legends Maximum Series Spider-Man, Avengers 60th Anniversary Black Widow, Spider-Man 2099 Retro, and the Maximum Series Deadpool. Marvel Legends Gamerverse Psylocke, Wolverine, Cable, and Venom. MAFEX Batman scale okay with Marvel Legends so far. 1/12 scale SH Figuarts Gamerverse figures, Cyclops, and Spider-Man. As expected, SH Figuarts are usually the shorter figures. SH Figuarts Deadpool and Wolverine. Again, even if Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman are 6 feet 2 inches just like Batman, Figuarts are expected to be short. 6-inch scale Jada Toy Street Fighters Balrog, Cammy, Ryu, and Player 2 Pink Chun-Li. 6-inch scale Boss Fight Studio Epic Hacks Red Sonja and Darna by Halimao Sculptures and Loose Collector. 7-inch scale McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse Batman Earth -1 or Batman Devastator. 6-inch scale versus 7-inch scale Marvel 80th Anniversary Hulk and the 7-inch scale Marvel Select Immortal Hulk or Rampaging Hulk. I picked up this MAFEX number 270 Batman from Amazon Japan using a proxy service, jpfans. With 60 days free storage, they consolidated my 3 separate orders into one sturdy box to protect the packaging. And the figures arrived in excellent condition. No dents at all, exactly like the inspection photos showed. MAFEX Batman comes in the standard MAFEX packaging. You can see the figure with the window, and on the sides are product shots, and on the back a few more promo images. Is this the one and only Batman figure for me? I'd like to think so, purely because of the shelf presence, the beautiful sculpt and paint, and that bendy wire cape. However, it does feel a bit lacking for a MAFEX release. I really expected a Bruce Wayne head. Adding an unmasked portrait would have been more consistent with other MAFEX figures in my collection. I did consider getting the blue variant, the MAFEX number 215 Batman, but those cowl ears are just too stylized and long. I worry about breaking a sculpt that is thin like that. For now, I'm just happy to finally have one of my favorite childhood heroes in my collection. I have several other MAFEX figures in my collection. Here is a link to the reviews of those in the top right corner of your screen. If you want to add Japanese figures like this in your collection, please consider using my jpfans link. It's the best way to dodge those crazy markup prices, especially if you combine shipping on a few pieces. Check my guide in the top right corner of your screen so you would know how to use it. It's easy, just like any shopping site. Thank you for watching. If you found this review helpful, please hit that hype button, give it a like, subscribe to my channel, and share this with our fellow collectors. I hope to see you in the next one.